Hello there. Welcome back to the Senate Podcast. This is a short little synopsis of another summer game showcase, I guess. It's not really labeled summer game showcase, but it came out of nowhere almost, and surprisingly, it was one of the best events this summer. And of course, I'm referring to the Nintendo Direct. June 2023. It was a shock to me, and I'm joined today by Tony Quinn. And was this a shock to you? How did you take this direct?
So we just had the PlayStation showcase not too long ago, and that was solid. I thought it was good. We did an episode about that. Check it out if you want. Shameless plug. And then they did a while ago. They did the Xbox showcase, which was also partially a Starfield showcase. We talked about that as well. Check that one out. Shameless plug again. And then, so, I figured, I heard about a Nintendo Direct, and I'm like, well, I feel like every upcoming Nintendo game's been, established, at other, past Nintendo Directs and stuff like that. So they're not going to announce anything that I care about. Who cares? I'm not even going to, But then I was at work, I had some chill time, and then, so I'm like, I'm going to check what they announced at the Direct, because I forget what it was I saw on Twitter, and I was like, oh, wait, what? That's kind of a big deal. So then I look up other stuff that they announced, and then I was like, oh, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. Oh, my God. They made that? It was, it was like a pleasant surprise. I feel like Nintendo was like, and they'll never see it coming.
Yeah, I love it. And we did a full episode for the PlayStation 1, partially because there was just so much at the PlayStation 1. And then we did a bonus show for the Xbox showcase, which was great. And then we're doing a bonus show for the Nintendo one. It's kind of like, we got to do the big three, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's June. June is one of the busiest months for gaming, especially for gaming news and announcements and whatnot. Even though there's no E3 anymore, it's still the busiest month for gaming. So I'm happy we can get together and cover this Direct because, it was announced, but I don't think anyone realized that it was going to be probably pound for pound, minute for minute, game for game, the strongest showcase of the year so far.
Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, this is in some ways low-key better than the other ones.
Yeah, and not because maybe the game, all the games look better, but the actual Direct, how they presented it, it was solid.
Yeah, and some of the titles, we'll talk about in a bit, are things that people, have been wanting for a while and probably didn't think they would ever get, and then they happen. I'm not, a big Nintendo fan at all, but I could imagine people that are I saw there's a YouTuber named Cloudy McDoom. He does cosplays, and he makes these narrative YouTube videos with a green screen and stuff about Final Fantasy, and his reaction to the one game that I won't spoil, but it involves Mario. He was screaming every frame. He'd just be like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah.
I could imagine a lot of people had those kind of reactions, and I'm looking forward to checking out some reactions.
Yeah, it's funny because like many people, Nintendo's huge. It's been around for a very long time, super popular and synonymous with gaming as a whole. I grew up loving Nintendo, but as I got older, obviously I transitioned more into PlayStation and Xbox, and more so PlayStation, but I love PlayStation, and that's where I play mostly, but I also love all of the, boxes. And it's funny because I'm probably the least hyped over the PlayStation 1. I like the Xbox One more than the PlayStation 1, and then Nintendo comes out of nowhere, and I like the Nintendo One the most. So I don't think we're coming into this biased, but
Not at all.
we love games, and I think on the last showcase episode we did, we gave Xbox a B, or I gave Xbox like a B, B plus, B plus. PlayStation's was a B, B plus. Nintendo's was an A. It was just
Yeah.
an A. So let's talk a little bit about it and get into the actual games, just like they did in the showcase. And I think that's one reason it's so good, because it was a lot of games. Just games. That's it. There
Oh
wasn't.
yeah.
It was just games, gaming. So let's just start talking about it. I got IGN pulled up with the synopsis of it, rundown, whatever. And I know you do too. So how about this? You can start it off. What do you want to talk about? There's a lot here.
I mean, this is more of an aside than anything else, but when I saw that they're gonna do a port of the Batman Arkham trilogy, I was like, guys, you're kind of punching above your weight class. What are you doing? Like, you were doing so well. What? Come on, stop it. Think logically. Think logically. What are you doing? Like,
And let me add to that. It turns out that they're ports of the originals. They're not the Return to Arkham edition that remastered the.
Okay, well, maybe that makes a little more sense then.
So I don't know if that's gonna be a good thing or bad thing, but I think that was the weirdest announcement out of all of them. But yeah,
like I can't imagine people would want to play those like handheld because they're like cinematic games. But I mean, now people that only play Nintendo can play them, so I mean that's cool. I guess I want to start. Let's see. I want to start with this RPG slash like life sim kind of thing. Silent Hope. This isn't usually the kind of thing that I play, but dude, this trailer is just really cute, which is a strange thing to say, but like it looks like like a kind of like throwback to like older Final Fantasy style thing, in 3D. It has your typical story, seven warriors, they're trying to find a reclusive king, but the whole thing, and I'm wondering if this is like a in-universe thing. Oh, the trailer says a kingdom of stolen words. So like the main characters, I guess they had their words stolen or something, so they're unable to speak. And then, it's a little like a roguelike, like you go through dungeons and stuff and fight enemies, gather resources, and then in the real, like outside of the dungeons, there's like a town where you can like craft stuff and I think like farm. And I don't know. I was watching the trailer and I'm like, for some reason, this kind of grabs me a little bit. I'm not sure if you have an opinion on that.
it like many of the games they showed off. I just love the art style.
Yeah.
So that is like the in game, like actually I'm watching them now run around. It looks fun. And it's a action RPG game, but they say the gameplay loop is, players going into a dungeon to find treasure and then returning the base to grow even stronger before doing it all over again. So that sounds fun, because those roguelites are fun. So yes.
Yeah. And that's from
Oh, man.
Exceed Games. They're a pretty famous developer. They worked on the Xenoblade games. They did The Last Story, which is a Wii exclusive. That was actually the last game directed by Hidenobu Sakaguchi of Final Fantasy fame. So they have a pretty big repertoire. They recently released Trinity Trigger, which I haven't played but looks fun. Looks similar. So like it seems like they have like a kind of aesthetic that they like, and they stick to that, and they seem to execute it pretty well.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Let's see. Myth Force is
Yes.
a
Oh, bro,
first-person roguelike
bro.
inspired by Saturday morning cartoons. Dude, this looks tight. This just looks tight. And it's not a
I'm
Switch.
watching the.
It's
I'm
not
watching the
on
trailer,
just
bro.
Switch and PC. It's also gonna be on Xbox and PlayStation.
It looks
So I'll probably
incredible.
just wait for one of those versions. But it looks fresh. Like it immediately grabbed me. I was like, oh wow, cell shading.
Yes, good look. It's like a good looking cell shading that isn't like a Borderlands type of cell
Yeah.
shading that just looks muddy. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, and it does say have you and your friends adventuring through dungeons in cursed lands. So, is it multiplayer? Did they confirm that?
And like all the various, like it looks like the characters have like their own class too. Like a
You know what it
knight,
reminds me of?
there's a lady with a mace. There's
It actually reminds me of Destiny,
oh yeah, a
but
little bit.
like a cartoon. That's so cool.
Yeah, and that aesthetic is a thing I really love, like that
Yes,
classic fantasy.
yes.
So I have super high hopes for this. Um and it's going to be releasing this year. So hopefully I don't have to wait too long.
Yeah. So next one, I just want to bring up
Yeah, yeah.
Star Ocean.
Yeah, that I actually didn't see the trailer for that. I'm going to play that right now.
So Star Ocean, I've never played these, and I think there's it's a series, but this this one specifically, Star Ocean, the second story.
I'm pretty sure every title is like a standalone story, like Final
Okay,
Fantasy. I
okay,
think I'm not
that would make
100% sure.
sense. But this is a remake, and bro, it's a mix of 2D pixel characters in 3D
Oh, I
environments,
love
and
that style.
I just love it. And if you go through the trailer, this game just looks incredible. I can see, the Switch when it came out, it was
Dang. Those
even in
3D
2017,
backgrounds are a little
bro.
more ambitious than
It needs to be.
yeah. I want to
Yeah.
play the Octopath games. I
Yes.
want
Yes.
to
Yes.
I played a fair amount of Triangle Strategy. I want to restart it. That's on my backlog, but that game looks really nice too.
So what I was gonna say is about those type of games. The Switch came out in 2017, and it was underpowered for a console, but it was a nice handheld. And I think these games shine on handhelds. So
I agree. Definitely.
that's the Switch. It will be obsolete in a few years. It's not going to be able to handle
Yeah.
much aside from those type of games, like those pixel type of games, and then obviously Nintendo first party games, which they showed off too. And it's funny, you can see the theme here is like Nintendo first party games that look amazing, and then there's like pixel games, and then when you see games like um Batman and some other stuff, they just like don't look. You're like, I'm not gonna play this on Switch, but
Yeah.
Switch does have its own like niche where it's these cool pixel games that work very well on handhelds, and obviously Nintendo first party games. So yeah, that game looks incredible. Another one, Vampire Survivors coming to Switch. I think for me, that is the console I would play this on.
Yeah, that's a perfect like
Yes.
like you're on your lunch break at work, maybe you're somewhere else, or maybe you're just laying on your couch and you just want to play something that you don't have to commit too much time to, just a rush of dopamine. Which is basically what I hear this game is like. It's just like a very uh snack kind of game, if you know what I mean. Like it doesn't have
Yeah.
really any substance, but like it's just like fun to just unwind and just play mindlessly.
Yeah. You know what this direct reminds me of? It reminds me of the 3DS era, and in a
Huh.
good way. And what's funny is it's bringing back 3DS games
Like
and
Luigi's
like
Mansion: The Dark Moon
remastered. So
remaster.
it's
Yeah.
like it's literally bringing back 3DS games and remastering them. And they announced, and not they didn't give a name for it, but a Princess Peach game, which looks like a 2.5D side scroller, which is like the 3DS bread and butter right there. So I'm excited for that because I love these type of games. And of course, probably one of the biggest games of the show was another brand new 2D platformer, the Super Mario Bros. Wonder. We can talk about all these games, but I just want to talk about they showed a lot of like 2D platformers and 2D type of games, like RPG games. So it just reminds me of like a 3DS era, and it seems like the Switch is evolving because the Switch can't compete in a landscape with AAA games on like a Steam Deck or the Ally that just came out, or even like consoles. The Switch isn't gonna be able to compete with, a game like um, I'm talking about performance wise and be able to handle on its hardware a game like Starfield or a game like, as advanced as like Final Fantasy 16. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So what it's doing is it's doubling down on what Nintendo is the best at. And that's its bread and butter. It's Mario games, it's Pikmin games, it's Pokemon games, it's the Legend of Zelda games. They got WarioWare back. I'm just firing off all this stuff. So, what do you want to dive into now? That was just my
I
rant.
want
But
to briefly talk about. Actually, before that, I just want to briefly comment on what you said. Like, like the Switch knows its strength, because
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I think this happened maybe when like the 360 came out and the PS3. Like, it seems like a lot of people nowadays, like, they'll bash a game solely because of certain graphical things. Like, oh, there's a little bit of pop in here.
yeah.
This doesn't look like all these other
Sonic
modern
Frontiers, man.
games. The grass doesn't move when you walk through it. The water, like people were in
The
the
boat
for
animations
the
are the same.
Spider-Man 2 trailer, people on Twitter were saying, "Oh, I hope they're going to really touch up these graphics because the water in this one cutscene kind of looks fake." And it's like I I mean, everybody, has their own preferences when it comes to playing games, obviously, but like I don't know, it's so stupid when I see people act like that makes a game bad. It's like, no, cuz a game is about, playing the game. If the game's fun, people aren't going to care. Like I don't really get
Yeah,
that. But
and just to add on to that, I'm watching the trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder because the art style is different than what we got on the
oh
Wii and
really?
Wii U, and it just look at the art style. It's it's almost like I said, it looks like a 3DS game, and who cares because it looks fun. And I think that's one of the reasons this Nintendo Direct really hit was all of these games look fun. And I kind of want to just play all of these games.
Yeah, like do you really like it? I want to know if people really think that if Nintendo, like, that they just genuinely don't know how to make something on par with the PS5 and 360. No, they obviously
They don't want
do.
to, yeah.
Yeah, it's they don't care about that. So I don't know why people care about that. But
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up because I think
yeah,
they compare them when they're not even
yeah, they're
competing in the
not.
same game,
Yeah, they're not playing
pun intended.
in the same league. But getting back on track, we're getting a sequel to Detective Pikachu, which I think looks kind of lovely.
So that looks interesting. I just want to say real quick, while I was on the topic of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, they added Daisy to it in a 2D Mario game.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing. So okay, uh, Detective Pikachu 2 coming in October. It
It looks nice. Like it basically looks like a slightly more polished N64 game, which is what the original game was released on. So I kind of like that they have a similar aesthetic. Like it makes it feel like part of that universe. You know, like they could have like changed up the art style or something, but I liked it. It looks pretty uniform to how it did
They're
before.
sticking to their bread and butter, or as one of the one guy I like to watch his stuff. He calls it the what does he call it? He calls it the burgers, the fries, and the shakes. It's the big three, or the stuff that their tent poles. You know what I mean? Mario, Pokemon, and the Legend of Zelda. Those are like their three big ones, and they had all of them in this showcase. Multiple Mario projects. They
Oh
showed
yeah.
off the DLC for the Mario Kart game. They showed off a Mario remake of some sort. We'll get into Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going through it. Even WarioWare is in that Mario universe. They showed off Pokemon, but they released a trailer for Detective Pikachu 2 and also DLC for Scarlet and Violet, which is one of the highest selling games ever. So then, and they showed the Legend of Zelda. I'm looking at it now. Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda, and Ganondorf amiibo. So even though it was just an amiibo, at this showcase they had Mario, multiple Mario things, Pokemon, and the Legend of Zelda here. And that's not even talking about all the other stuff. And the other showcases didn't do that. PlayStation didn't have their tent poles there.
Yeah, exactly.
Microsoft, Xbox, they didn't have Halo there. They didn't have Gears. Yeah, they had cool new stuff, which is awesome. But what were we talking about in the Xbox episode?
How
It
they
would have
have
been
a lot of properties that they're
yes,
just letting sit. Like, like it's
yes,
like parents, who their child who like like they have like a party or something at their house and they tell their children to just stay locked in their room.
yeah.
It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like,
Well, that's bleak, but that's so accurate. So we started talking about these new games they showed off, but they had all of the tent poles here and they look cool. They had Splatoon 3, which Splatoon 3 is absolutely huge in Japan. So they had Mario and Rabbids, Sparks of Hope. They had so much here, and it was a quick direct. Like they just showed all of these games. They gave it to you and they got out, and it was so. It wasn't even like the games were that insane. I think the best looking one was in my opinion, was probably Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But these games just looked fun, and they had the tent poles there. So I think you can't give this thing anything less than like an A.
oh yeah.
I mean, what more could you have wanted from this? Maybe Metroid Prime. That's about it, or an
Yeah,
F-Zero.
I saw
but
somebody on Twitter was like, "We're never getting Metroid Prime 4." And it's like,
well,
yeah, I mean, what's going on?
but okay. While we're on the topic of IP and tent poles and whatnot, let's just be honest. And it's facts too. If you just want to look it up, the metrics. Anybody out there listening can do this. Metroid is like the least, successful IP they have. So
Oh,
it's
really? Huh.
yeah. I mean, and they just released a big Kirby game, so it's like those two weren't there. Star Fox and F-Zero I wouldn't count on getting any of them. They're not that successful. I'm surprised they showed a new Pikmin, and then obviously they did the Pikmin re-releases, but they're giving us a lot of Tentpole IP still. I mean, they're not. It's not like they're leaving a lot of them behind. Yeah, some are going to get left behind, and in favor of just some new content. But at least they still have their temples. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but I mean, what more could you have wanted from this? So what
Yeah,
were some other?
and
Yeah,
let me just scroll through because I'm gonna talk about. Here's a little tea. I'm gonna talk about Pikmin 4 a bit in the next proper episode, so I'm not really gonna touch upon it here. Let me see if there's anything else before we talk about. There's a. I want to know what you think about the Dragon Quest Pokemon game. It's essentially a Pokemon game, just in
yeah,
the
Dragon
Dragon
Quest
Quest. Yeah,
Monsters.
I mean, it doesn't really grab me because I don't know. I guess I'm not really into that formula that much, but I wanted
I'm
to
not
get.
into that
Oh, really?
IP.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I think though, like it's big in you know other parts of the world. It's huge. It's huge IP. I mean, it rivaled Final Fantasy for a long time. Uh, I'm not into the IP, but it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see the Dragon Quest franchise like doing like interesting side games. Like last year they released Dragon Quest Treasures that was like kind of like an action RPG ish like treasure hunt game where you can like
Yeah,
recruit creatures to like fight for you and like find treasure and stuff. Like I think that's um they released two new life sims, which I mean, Nintendo seems to be going
yeah.
hard
What's up with that?
on the farming sims. I don't know what the heck that's about. Uh, I
It
guess
reminds me of
really.
the old days with My Sims on Wii.
Uh,
If anybody remembers that, that's a throwback.
I don't even know if I've heard of that one.
Yeah, look up
Maybe.
I think yeah, My Sims. But let's
I don't have anything else to talk about, so we could talk about the big announcement.
Okay, yes, that's what I was gonna go to. You go ahead,
Because
take it away.
I feel like that, like when I saw this announced, I was like, yo, they've been working on this in secret, those bastards. A remake of Mario is Missing. The original game was released on the CDI. It's really beloved. No, Super Mario RPG remake.
That would be kind of cool. Now that you said that, I want
I
it. That
just thought
actually
of
is a
that
really
one
interesting
because it's
idea.
actually one of the most hated, I think.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't really a hit.
yeah.
I mean, but yeah,
Uh,
dude, they freaking remade Super Mario RPG remake and the art style, dude.
I'm
The
watching the
art
trailer
style, the
now,
chibi
bro.
art style, like classic Final Fantasy looking Super Mario. It looks so freaking cute. And it looks good too, like
It looks so good.
impressive graphically. Like they really know how to make Mario game. It seems like I said this to Final, I think, like on an old episode that some Switch games, it seems like they don't like they just essentially get to a point where they look fine and then they're like, okay, that's it. But for Mario games, they pull out all the
Go
stops.
all the
Like
way.
Mario
Yeah,
Odyssey looks incredible. That's the best looking Switch game I've seen.
yeah.
This game looks really good too. Like not just like the art style and the presentation, but like the actual graphics. Like it looks pretty solid. And I'm really excited because this is like I've seen a few videos of like best turn-based RPGs, best turn-based RPGs for newcomers to the genre, and a lot of them always reference Super Mario RPG. So I can't wait to see what all the fuss is about, why people love it so much. In this new presentation, I'm assuming they've improved like the gameplay and stuff, made quality of life improvements like they always do. So
So I
and
just want to say, yeah,
this comes out in November, dog. Like not even next year, like November
bro.
in the fall. Get out of my face.
Let's stop getting game announcements that are years away. I don't want to hear any game announcement unless it's within 6 months of release. That's
Exactly.
it. That's it.
Like what they did with
Don't.
Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 15. They like showed one short trailer in 2021 and they didn't show anything until the game was close to being released.
How about Indiana Jones, Perfect Dark, all that? I mean, or Little Devil Inside. I know everyone
I
forgot about
forgot
that.
about that. Yeah.
I know you did
I
because
thought that
it's
looked
been
sick.
years.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
I think
It looked
that was announced what, like 2020, 2021?
2021.
Good
No,
God.
that was at the original PS5 like launch event trailer thing. I think yeah, it was
Oh
like
my
2021, like early.
Oh my God.
Whatever. Yeah, it was and there's been absolutely no updates since then. They've had one update and it was looked like a completely different game, and since then there's been no updates. But anyways, Super Mario RPG Remake announced, and it's developed by Square Enix. So let's just say shout out to Square. And
They
this
did the
game,
original, I think, when they were still Squaresoft.
Squaresoft, and the trinity of RPGs in the 90s, some of the highest, most well-regarded RPGs ever, go Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and Super Mario RPG. And Square Enix is just killing it
Yeah.
in this department, and they're killing it this year with all the games. I mean, this when it comes to the best developer or best publisher, I think you have to say Square Enix and maybe like a Capcom or something, because these guys are not letting up. Maybe Nintendo with after this showing. I mean, this is impressive. And I'm not gonna lie, the last few years I have not really wanted to play much Nintendo because the games just looked okay.
Yeah, me neither. Like
You know what I mean?
I reached like I bought my Switch. I played Super Mario Odyssey, loved it. I hadn't played a Mario game in a long time. I played some Breath of the Wild and I've been kind of back and forth with that game. Like I love it, but I also kind of don't. And then a lot of the other Switch games I played have been like things that were also released on PC. And then
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I just recently got Kirby and the Forgotten Land finally, and like I just realized, oh wait, no, I still do like platformers. Like it wasn't just a phase
Yes.
I had when I was a kid. Platformers are fun.
Okay.
So I'm excited to play some first party Nintendo games. I'm feeling the hype, baby.
I think we did a great job of covering this, but we left out the best game of the show, and I want to end with this, and then you could say if you want to end with anything, you can end with it. But a game I've actually really been looking forward to, and they showed the official announcement trailer here, is a game by the team behind Sonic Mania,
Oh
and
yeah,
that game
Sonic.
is no,
I forgot. Oh,
nope. I'm not talking about what is it, Sonic Superstars or All Stars, whatever it
oh,
is.
okay.
They did show a new gameplay trailer for Sonic Superstars, which that game looks amazing. But I'm talking about a game called Penny's Big Breakaway. It is a game that kind of looks like a
I didn't
Super
even see
Mario
this
or a
initially,
Mario 3D
so
World.
I'm gonna watch the trailer in real time.
Watch it real time while I fill the time here.
Okay.
This game looks like it looks like the gameplay looks like a Sackboy's Big Adventure or a Mario 3D World, but it looks so good. And the look at the art style, look at the like the cinematics are cartoony, like a man, what does this remind me of? It looks like a Psychonauts like art
A
style
little, yeah.
almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But it looks fun, it looks kinetic, looks snappy, like when you have the momentum off of the yo-yo. I think that's a cool mechanic.
Oh yeah,
So
this is interesting.
and the gameplay sees two heroes working together to get through a wild and wacky level in very inventive ways. So that I love this kind of stuff. I think it's going to be a super fun game. The team behind it's very talented. So
I wonder if this
yeah, I
is
can't
going to
wait for
be
this
on
platformer.
any other consoles.
It
I'm
is.
trying
It's
to.
going to be on
Okay.
everything. I was on their Twitter the other day.
Yeah, I think I'm slowly starting to get the platformer sickness.
Yes. So yeah, I think that's a good little synopsis, little takeaway from what happened to be the best showcase of the year so far. Any final thoughts from you on any of these games and why you're absolutely not going to play Metal Gear on your Switch?
I'm not gonna play Metal Gear on my Switch because I don't know.
I know you're
They've
not. Why would you?
it would kind of feel sacrilegious, like because they've always
Would
been
it?
exclusive to Sony. So I'd feel like like
GameCube?
it'd be like, oh yeah. I mean,
I'm just
the
joking.
whole draw of these games are that they're like big cinematic experiences, and I can't imagine experiencing them on a smaller screen sometimes. I'd say
But a
yeah.
lot of these games look like they would work on a small screen, which I think
Well, I mean,
they're
they're
doubling down on what
older
they're good at.
games, so I mean, I think they'll run okay, you know, but it's just kind of a little random, maybe. But maybe there's been a
Yeah.
subsection of the fan base that have been clamoring for this. I wouldn't know. Uh, yeah, I guess my final thoughts are I expected, you know, with like a lot of these events, I say it all the time as like essentially a meme at this point that like I'll see maybe like 3 games that I think look cool, and then the
Yeah.
other ones I'm like, I don't really care. But I think this kind of set a record
I think so too,
for how
honestly.
many games announced I want to check out. So, and a lot of them are this year in fall, you know, and
They're
maybe a
not
little,
years away
yeah. So
with just a name,
it's like, so, you know,
this is
I love my
actual
PS4. I've
gameplay.
had my PS4 for a long time. But
You're gonna sell it for a second Switch.
yeah, I'm gonna clone myself so I can play more Switch games simultaneously. No, I'm gonna be spending a lot more quality time with my Switch, and I've kind of been. I've had moments where I'm like, I kind of regret buying the Switch in a way. Maybe I shouldn't have it anymore. After this, I'm like, no, 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 no. Unless until they announce the next console that has backwards compatibility with Switch games, I will not be getting rid of it. Thank you. Leave me alone. I'm a happy
Yeah,
customer.
I agree. I think that was awesome. Nintendo just went up a little bit in my mind share. That's been a buzzword the last few weeks, but
Mindshare. I've
yeah.
never heard that.
Anyways, yeah, it's yeah. So that was fun. I liked it a lot. These games look awesome. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on and talking about it. And we're gonna go ahead and maybe talk about these games again very shortly. So
Maybe one or two of
until next
these will
time,
appear in the next
maybe
episode. Maybe, possibly not. I don't know. You'll
we'll
have to
see.
listen to find out. Dang it.
All right. So until next time, hopefully Banjo Kazooie pops back up on a Nintendo platform. So
That would be great.
with that being said, goodbye.
Peace.